On November 14, 2004, the USS Princeton's SPY-1 radar system tracked an object descending from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than 1 second, a deceleration requiring over 12,000 G-forces, exactly double the structural limit of any aircraft ever built. The Princeton had been tracking anomalous contacts for 2 weeks before this event. The data was logged, timestamped, and reported up the chain of command. No scramble order was issued. No alert was filed. The contacts were, officially, not there. In 2022, those radar logs were formally entered into congressional testimony. What they describe has no aerodynamic explanation. What happened to the original data tapes from the Princeton that week has never been officially answered. This is what the data actually shows. 13 days before the encounter, Petty Officer Gary Voorhis reported for his standard watch rotation inside the USS Princeton's Combat Information Center. His station was the SPY-1, a phased array radar system capable of tracking over 100 simultaneous contacts at ranges exceeding 200 nautical miles. This system does not guess. It does not infer. It detects physical return signatures. When it tracks something, that something formally exists. What Voorhis logged that morning was not in any operational database. Objects at altitudes between 60,000 and 80,000 feet, above the operational ceiling of every aircraft in the United States military inventory. No transponder, no flight plan, no radar identification of any kind. They would appear, hold position, descend, and vanish from the display entirely, and then reappear. At one point, the radar team powered down the SPY-1 entirely. Not because it failed, because they assumed it was wrong. When the system came back online, the contacts returned. Same altitude, same behavior, same absence of any identifying data. For 13 days, the most advanced shipborne radar system in the United States Navy tracked objects it could not classify. The contacts were logged, the logs were filed, and the administrative response was silence. At approximately 0900 local time, on November 14, 2004, Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slate were directed to investigate an active radar contact, 60 miles southwest of the Princeton. No threat classification had been issued. No identification existed. The order was investigative, not defensive. That distinction matters. The United States Navy was not scrambling to intercept a known threat. It was sending 2 pilots towards something it could not name. At approximately 20,000 feet, Fravor acquired the contact visually. Below his position, a patch of disturbed ocean surface, churning whitewash with no visible cause. The object itself was white, elongated, approximately 40 feet in length. No wings, no visible propulsion system, no control surfaces of any kind. It moved. Fravor initiated a descending spiral, a standard intercept approach. The object mirrored it, not reacting to it, mirroring it, maintaining relative position as Fravor changed altitude and heading and committed to a direct intercept vector. Then, the object accelerated. In Fravor's own words, delivered under congressional oath, it was gone. No sonic boom, no heat signature, no radar track continuation from the Princeton. What the Princeton's radar recorded next is documented in crew testimony, corroborated by multiple personnel aboard the same vessel. The object reappeared, not near its last known position, at the Princeton's designated Combat Air Patrol Rendezvous Coordinate, a tactical position that existed only inside the ship's encrypted operational systems at the time of the intercept. No official explanation has been offered for how an unidentified object with no transponder signal navigated to a coordinate that existed only inside classified military systems. None. Not instrument error. Not weather phenomenon. Not explained. Before we examine what was taken, we establish what should have happened. Standard United States Navy data archiving protocol requires that radar recordings, communication logs, and sensor data from operational incidents be retained aboard the originating vessel, cataloged through the ship's intelligence officer, and transferred via documented chain of custody to the relevant fleet command. This process exists for one reason: evidentiary integrity. It is not optional. It is not discretionary. It is, formally, procedure. What happened aboard the Princeton on the afternoon of November 14th did not follow procedure. Petty Officer Gary Voorhis, fire controlman, stationed in the Princeton's secure radar spaces, has stated on record that within hours of the intercept, a helicopter arrived at the Princeton. Unannounced. Two individuals proceeded directly to the ship's secure radar spaces. They took the magnetic data tapes from Voorhis's radar locker. He was then ordered to clear his local recording loops. Voorhis has never been told who those individuals were. In a separate section of the same vessel, aviation fire control technician P.J. Hughes provides a parallel account. Hughes has stated that his commanding officer entered his workspace, accompanied by two individuals in clean flight suits. Personnel Hughes did not recognize, was not introduced to. Those individuals requested the hard drives containing freshly recorded sensor data from the intercept window. They signed them out. Hughes has never been able to identify who they were or what command they represented. Two separate crew members, two separate secure spaces, two separate unannounced visits, both within the same operational window, both resulting in the removal of primary data from the same incident. None of this transfer activity appears in the Princeton's standard data archiving logs for that period. The identities of the personnel who signed out the Hughes hard drives have not been publicly established. The magnetic tapes taken from Voorhis have not been accounted for in any subsequent declassification release. Under standard naval protocol, this is not a clerical gap. It is a chain of custody breach. The data existed, then it was collected, then it was gone.
Today, we know better. UAPs are unexplained, it's true, but they are real. They need to be investigated, and many threats they pose need to be mitigated.
On May 17, 2022, the United States House Intelligence Counterterrorism Subcommittee convened a public hearing. The subject: unidentified aerial phenomena. It was the first public congressional hearing on anomalous aerial phenomena in over 50 years. 18 years of institutional silence ended in a hearing room. The witnesses called to testify: Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence Scott Bray and Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security Ronald Moultrie, both under oath. Scott Bray presented the FLIR footage of the Nimitz Encounter to the committee directly. He confirmed, under oath, that the objects captured on naval radar and sensor systems were, physically, real. Not instrument malfunction. Not atmospheric phenomenon. Real. Physical. Unidentified. Bray further confirmed that documented encounters with anomalous aerial phenomena had risen to over 400 cases, tracked across military operational theaters. The system that spent 18 years treating the Nimitz incident as operationally irrelevant was now formally acknowledging it as a matter of national security. Under oath. On the record. In public. When committee members pressed for answers regarding the chain of custody protocols, the missing radar logs, the identity of personnel who removed data from the Princeton, the responses were redirected to classified, closed-door sessions. The phenomenon acknowledged. The historical data shielded. The breach unanswered. The United States military now formally acknowledges that anomalous objects of unknown origin represent an active national security concern. The pilots saw something. The radar logged it. The data was collected, within hours, by personnel nobody can identify. The question was never what flew over the Pacific that morning. The question is, where that evidence is sitting right now, and who decided you shouldn't see it.